You are Locked On Mavericks Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Dallas, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
No way in NOLA. It really did happen. The Mavs found a way to lose this game. There's no way they could lose to the last place Pelicans. Could they? Yes, they did. 119 to 116, the final score. Welcome to the Mavs postcast on a Wednesday night. My name is Jeff Biggs. I wish the results were different, but here we are, and here we go. Welcome into the Mavs postcast, your team every day, and in our case, your team every game. Thank you for watching Locked On Sports Dallas, your destination after every single game, and you can also find us on the Locked On Mavs podcast feed. Coming up on our episode tonight, of course, we'll talk about the career night for Daniel Gafford. Also, we'll dive into the knife. Najee Marshall's return to New Orleans, facing his former team, the Pelicans, for the first time on their team on their floor. First trip back, and we'll have the very latest on Kyrie and Derek Lively, who both did not play tonight. But with that said, the Mavs were in a position to win this game. They were up 114 to 113 with under a minute left to go, and they could not pull it out. They could not get it done. There's no way they could lose this game to the Pelicans, and they did. 119 to 116. You look at that final episode, the final stretch, the final series of plays in that final minute, 114 to 113. The Mavs were in front. And what happened there? We had that Spencer Dinwiddie turnover, right? When Spencer had the ball, dribbled too long, tried to kick it out. It was too late. That was a turnover. That got it rolling. We had a Klay Thompson miss. We had Spencer Dinwiddie miss. We had the Pelicans taking the lead, 116 to 114. The Mavs got the ball out of bounds, but then Klay turned it over. And then we had the foul on P.J. Washington. That made it, kept the Pelicans up 116 to 114. Free throws for Javonte Green. And then it was P.J., but it was too little too late. And of course, we had the huge missed goaltending call by the referees. And in that moment, the Mavs didn't have any timeouts left. They could not challenge that play. And that was that was a huge, you missed that call, and it went from 118, 117 Mavs to 119, 116 for New Orleans. And that was the ball game. Just a really, 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 really bad loss tonight for the Mavs. And you feel for them because after kind of a slow start where you were thinking, okay, what's going on here? After two tough losses, you're thinking, okay, you got to come back, got to win this game against what is right now kind of a ragtag injured New Orleans Pelican squad, right? You got to get on the road. You got to win that game. Yeah, the Mavs played last night, but so did the Pelicans in Chicago. So it was tough. It was the same for both teams, but you're the Mavs and you have two tough losses at home to Denver. You got to find a way to get this win on the road against an injured last place team, and they could not get it done. Tough. I don't understand, I was thinking about it, like in the NFL, right? Late in games, replay takes over. And I just don't understand when you have, we have all this technology, right? All this technology at our disposal. We've got the replay center in New York. I mean, we have eyes everywhere. You go to the arena, cameras everywhere. And then you have a situation like that where it's crystal clear. I mean, crystal clear that was goaltending, and they don't call it, and it gets missed. And I mean, this goes back to, I think a kind of what was the big argument for years in the NFL, that people were so frustrated with instant replay in the NFL, was because we would be watching the games at home and we would see the right call at home, and the right call wasn't made on the field. And that was just it took years to bridge that gap and to get over that hurdle. And now it kind of feels like we're in the same boat now with the NBA. I mean, that's clearly a goaltend, and you got to get that right. I mean, the game is on the line. You're in the final seconds. I just don't understand, again, why we have the technology. You should be able to get it right. I just, and yeah, you can say I'm being a homer, whatever, but I mean, that's just bad. I mean, you have three refs on the floor. All eyes are on the ball. The ball is right there. I mean, how do you miss that? How do you miss that? How do you miss that call? Seriously, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I say this all the time. A good one of my best friends is a high level, not NBA, but a high level referee. Very close with Ed Rush, who worked in the league and worked as a referee and the head of referees for a long time. I know what these guys go through. They go through tremendous scrutiny and discipline after every game. I mean, they have to give detailed accounts of every call. I mean, it's a lot of work. Yeah, they get paid well and they get to travel and do all that, and they're in the NBA, but they believe it or not, they are held accountable. But with that said, I mean, that was a huge whiff, a huge miss by the refs tonight, and you got to get that right. And maybe again, I know, like everything, it's a work in progress, and you have to tweak and you have to do better and all that. But like I said, maybe we need to get to a point where, I mean, if you have NBA replay in New York and they're monitoring the game and they can see something like that crystal clear, that is clearly a goaltend, then you gotta do the right thing. I mean, I just, like I said, mind-boggling to me that here we are in 2025 with all of the technology that we have today at our disposal, and you have such a big miss like that. So it is what it is. That wasn't the only play of the game. There were other opportunities. Again, the turnover, the bad possession by Spencer Dinwiddie. The Mavs were not able to put this team away. And I mean, the fact that New Orleans came back, the Pelicans came back and won the fourth quarter 32-25. They were hungry. They were desperate. They wanted to win, felt like they could get a win. And it's really a bummer. We talked about it. We talked about this month and how difficult this month is for the Mavs, how difficult this current schedule is right now. And like I said, you're on the road. You're playing a really depleted kind of ragtag Pelicans team. I know it's the NBA, but I mean, you're the Mavs and you're this group. I mean, you have to win this game. You've got to pull this game out and get this win. And it's really disappointing. And so, because of back-to-backs, they're going to have the day off tomorrow, no practice, and they have to get right back at it Friday night to face the Thunder back here at home. So that's really tough, though. The way that the Mavs really stepped it up at the end of the second quarter and also again at the end of the third, you're thinking, okay, here we go. Now everybody's involved. Daniel Gafford is having a career night, and this is the way to do it. And they just could not finish it off. Had those bad possessions down the stretch, and they end up losing 119 to 116. All right, so that's my thought of the night. Bad finish, bad loss tonight for the Mavs. When we come back, we'll talk about the career night for Daniel Gafford and also the return to New Orleans for Najee Marshall. But again, the Mavs lose tonight in New Orleans to the Pelicans, 116 to 119. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right, well, I mentioned Hungry Root when we were together last night, and I'm going to do so again here just to tell you a little bit about what they are doing, and that's not just words. I think you're going to like what you hear, because I think you can relate to what I'm saying about Hungry Root and what they offer. If I can just, there we go. Live television, live broadcast right now. We are live, and of course everything freezes up. There we go. Okay, well, what I like about Wayfair is that, I don't know about you, but when you're working a ton and you're super busy, look, I don't know about you, you don't want to eat fast food. You got to be healthy. You need energy. You want to be healthy. You want to keep going. You don't want to gain weight. And so it can be a struggle if you're really busy with grocery shopping and meal planning. I've had this ongoing problem. I work pretty much every day, and I don't have a lot of time. And you mix in work life, family life, social events, and trying to eat healthier, you can really get stressed out trying to do that. So everything can change when you discover Hungry Root. I mean, it's really a game changer. It's the easiest way to eat healthy without all the stress. And with Hungry Root, it's really like having a personal shopper and a nutritionist all in one. And they take care of the grocery shopping. They recommend meals. Groceries are based on what you like, your taste, right? And not only that, they can help you with your health goals, even from anti-inflammatory to high protein, or even gluten-free options, depending on what kind of diet you're doing, if you are. And the best part, every meal is ready in 15 minutes or less. I'm talking quick, healthy meals that actually taste great and are delivered straight to your door. It's been a huge time saver, and it has really made healthy eating so much more simpler. All right, you're going to love Hungry Root, I think, as much as I do. And for a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box and a free item in every box for life. All right, just go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA. Don't miss out. All right, welcome back to the Mavs Postcast on a Wednesday night. Jeff Biggs, glad to be with you. Wish the circumstances were better after this one. As always, we want to welcome in the comment crew. If you want to jump in and let your voice be heard, via the comment section right up there. You can do so. We would love to hear from you, hear your thoughts. Looking at the numbers tonight, the Mavs ended up with 5 players and, six players. Wait, let me do my math right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can add 6 players in double figures, and we'll kind of go down the list. Have to start with the big man, Daniel Gafford, and feel for him for a couple of reasons, because we talked about it during the mini 2-game Denver series that he struggled. That was not a good couple of games for him, and obviously when you're going up against the Joker, that's going to be rough on anybody. So I'm not throwing stones here, but that was tough. And Daniel Gafford really, even aside from those 2 games, hasn't looked like the Daniel Gafford that we saw at the beginning of the year, the first month and a half or so when the Mavs were rolling. And he admittedly last night, talking to the media after the game, after the loss to the Nuggets, really took it upon himself and called himself out for the way that he's been playing. And to his credit, I mean, it's one thing to talk about it, right? But it's another thing to go out and step it up and do something. And he did that tonight. Played really, really well, had a career game. I mean, best scoring game of his NBA career. 27 points, 12 rebounds in 30 minutes. Ended up going 12 of 13 from the floor, 3 for 4 at the line, and even had a couple of blocks and a couple of assists as well. So it was a huge night for Daniel Gafford that goes to waste with this loss tonight to the Pelicans. I mean, he played really, really well, deserved to win, and you really feel for Daniel after his performance tonight. He was really energized, and you could tell that he felt really, really comfortable in this game. Aside from Gafford, he had a kind of a strong finish. Man, I don't know, man. Maybe the Mavs need to make a point to get PJ Washington going early, because he's been kind of quiet of late, and he finished strong. Had a big 3 at one point. Ended up with 14 points and 14 rebounds, so a nice double-double. Najee Marshall back in New Orleans for the first time since signing with the Mavs, facing his former team, had a lot of love from everybody before the game. Najee ended up with 7 points, but he had a career night with a career high 10 assists in 30 minutes for Najee. Spencer Dinwiddie, who got the start again, had a stretch. I think he made 8 in a row at one point, ended up with 20, but he missed a lot of shots. He was 6 of 17, 3 of 8 from beyond the 3-point line, had that key turnover in crunch time, and it was a tough night again for Clay. He had a little hot stretch in the second half with some big-time shots, but again, for Clay, 12 points, ended up, though, with 3 turnovers, and ended up 5 of 12, including 2 of 9 from beyond the 3-point line for Clay. And then on the bench, a couple of things. I mean, Quentin Grimes finally got going, but I mean, ever since he had that big third quarter game recently, he's been kind of hot and cold. Ended up with 14 points tonight. And then Jayden Hardy had a big part in the Mavs taking the lead, but was really nowhere to be found in crunch time. Still ended up with 21 points in 25 minutes, including 7 of 13 and 4. He had more than anybody in the Mavs, 4 3-pointers for Jayden Hardy in New Orleans. But aside from that, you had Omax with a point. And man, I thought after last night when Maxey scored 10, I thought that meant the confidence was back in his shot. But tonight, there were at least a couple of occasions where he literally, I mean, he had wide open threes, and I mean wide open, and he passed and passed it off. And I'm all for being unselfish and playing team ball, but I keep saying this, I really want to see him find some confidence with his shot so he's not a one-dimensional player, because that will help his teammates when teams know you're not going to shoot, or you don't want to shoot, or you can't score. They don't have to guard you. I mean, it's really that simple. So those were the numbers. And then when you take a look at the team stats, the Mavs were 12 of 35 from beyond three. The Pelicans 13 of 39. Free throws were close. Mavs 18 of 25. Pelicans 20 of 24. So they were better, and that stands out in a 3-point game. Rebounds, the edge goes to the Pelicans, 49-45. Points off of turnovers, the Mavs had the edge there, 17-10. Fast break points, 23-17. Pelicans edge there, but the Mavs were much better in the paint, primarily thanks to Daniel Gafford, 60-46. The Pelicans' biggest lead was 11. The Mavs' biggest lead was 7. But again, with under a minute to go, the Mavs had a 1-point lead, 114-113, and they could not pull it out. All right, when we come back, our final segment will give you the very latest on what's going on with both Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively, both of whom did not play today, and we'll have some final thoughts. Also, a final opportunity for you to get on board and jump in via the comment crew. You can do so. I always say you don't even have to use your real name. You can come up with an alias, and we'll make it work. Final score, Pelicans 119, the Mavs 116. This is the Mavs Postcast. All right. After the holiday hustle, right? I mean, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC, right? You're busy, you've been out and about, you haven't been home much, you've just been kind of putting everything off, but now you have some time, things are dying down a little bit, and you want to get your house, you want to get your place cleaned up, right? You don't want to be dirty. You always find that decluttering and refreshing kind of helps you get back into the groove. So whether you're tidying up, clearing out, or you just want to give your space a new look to start the new year, Wayfair has everything you need, all within your budget. Now, I'm currently looking for some furniture. I want to wait and make sure I get the right deal. But Wayfair has a huge selection, and it makes it easy to find the pieces that fit your style and your budget. And my favorite part is the free and hassle-free delivery, even for bigger items. Wayfair's site is so easy to navigate, you can find everything you need in no time. And that makes it, I mean, as guys, well, I don't want to, if we have any women watching, no disrespect, but guys, we like to get stuff done, right? We want to shop, we want to find it, we know what we want to buy it. Let's go. Let's find the best deal, pay for it, and let's get it. Let's go. Well, one thing, when you look at the Wayfair site, they have something for every style, every home, no matter what your budget. It makes it easy to tackle your New Year's home goals, right? If you have a certain decor style, you can pick items. You can see why you love them. See how they look in your home. What do you use it for? I mean, Wayfair can really help you out in a time crunch. The delivery is free, fast, and hassle-free. That's the key. So give your home the refresh it needs with Wayfair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WAYFAR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. All right, welcome back to the Mavs postcast. Jeff Biggs, happy to be with you. Wish the results were better tonight. 119 to 116. The Mavs fall in New Orleans to the Pelicans. They'll have a day off tomorrow, and then they will return home to host the Oklahoma City Thunder on Friday night for a huge game. The good news, as we look ahead to Friday night, head coach Jason Kidd said, number one, Kyrie Irving apparently had a good workout. I guess originally Kyrie was planning on playing tonight, playing both games of the back-to-back after returning last night against Denver. Didn't work out. Just taking it a little easy, a little slow. He had been out for 5 games, so that's fine. But apparently he had a good workout today, and should be ready to go for Friday night. And it sounded the same when Jay Kidd was also talking about Derek Lively, and that Kidd said it was nothing serious and that they hope that he's back in the next couple of days. So if you do the math, that could be Friday, that could be Monday. We'll see. But I made the comment last night, the fact that Derek Lively was able to kind of walk it off on his own last night and was sitting on the bench, at least it looked initially like he thought he was going to return and continue playing. I think that was hopefully a good sign, and they just gave him the extra rest with the day off tomorrow, and that he'll be able to go. So hopefully he'll be back, and then it sounds like, as far as Luka Doncic is concerned, that we're still looking at another evaluation at the end of the month. But as we pointed out, as was pointed out on TNT last night during their broadcast, according to TNT, they were told that Doncic is still weeks away, but he will return before the All-Star break. So that will be sometime within the next month. And as I said, even if it's the game before the break, all right, after the break, the Mavs will have 26 games, right? 26 games left in the regular season to get things right. So that's more than enough time. I say this all the time. Teams can go into April, the final half month of the regular season, and they can turn it on. But if you're the Mavs, you don't want to let that hole get too deep. And that's why a loss like tonight is especially frustrating, because you had a loss on Sunday where you were up by 18-19 in the third against Denver, the team ahead of you. You couldn't finish that game. And then you go from the team right above you to the last place team in the conference, and you let one get away on the road that you should have won. And that's tough. It feels like all the goodwill, all the good vibe from the great start that the Mavs had when they won 14 of 17, right? Everything was great. They were the hottest team in the NBA, and then the injuries came, and now, since the injuries and everything else, the Mavs have gone 3-12 in their last 15. So they went from winning 14 of 17 to now losing 12 of 15. And right now, they have dropped just like that. They are tied with the Lakers, Minnesota, and they're a game and a half ahead of Sacramento, but technically at the moment in the number 8 spot in the West. So tough games coming up here to wrap up the month as they await the return of Luka, but still, this was a really, really tough one tonight that you got to get that win. And you just feel like like I said, the good vibes, the good flow that we saw when the team was rolling, they're fighting through it right now. And a loss like this, along with the tough loss on Sunday, they hurt. And when you have some younger players that aren't quite established, I know they have some vets like Clay and Spencer Dinwiddie, and they've been around. Even, I mean, this is year number 5 for Najee, so I'm not saying that they're rookies, but it's tough. Losses like that can kind of get in your head. So hopefully, you know what? Hopefully, after a day off tomorrow, they'll come out well rested, refreshed, ready to go, with an opportunity to really, if there's ever a game to just, go nuts and throw everything out there and leave everything on the court, it's going to be Friday night against the number 1 team in the West, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So looking forward to that. I will be back with you after the game. In the meantime, especially with an off day tomorrow, make sure you join Nick and the crew, Isaac, Slightly Biased. They'll keep you up to date with everything that goes on. They'll get you ready for the game on Friday night, talk about all the trade rumors as we count down to February 6th, and hopefully we'll have some more info on the injury front. But tonight, the Mavs let one get away in New Orleans. They fall to the Pelicans 119 to 116. They had the lead 114 to 113 with under a minute left, and they could not close it out. Wasn't the biggest loss of the season as far as the point differential, but without a doubt, this one was or if not, one of the, certainly the game Sunday against Denver, right up there as well. 2 of the tougher losses of the season in these last few days, as the Dallas losing streak is now at 3 in a row. My name is Jeff Bakes. Thanks for hanging with me tonight. I'll be back with you on Friday night. This has been the Mavs Postcast.